What's up, y'all? I'm back. Purposely Kales, y'all. And I have oh my goodness, a great friend, a great church member, and everything. His name is Brother Reggie. That's what I call him, Brother Reggie.
Okay.
And I got him today, and y'all see that title. We are talking about what a man need. Ooh, Brother Reggie, you ready for me?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
You ready for me, Brother Reggie?
Let's go.
What a man need. So, y'all, before we get started, I need you to send this to your uncle. I need you to send this to your nephew. I need you to send this to your granddaddy, your daddy, everybody, okay? I need y'all to tune in. I need you to share that video. I need you to give it a thumbs up. I need you to engage with me in the comments, y'all. We're going to have a great conversation. And on this channel, y'all, we are very transparent. We ain't with no fake stuff. We are very transparent. So I just need you to share the video. Let's get the good news out there. I think it's going to transform lives. What you think, Brother Reggie?
I think it certainly will. And talking about things that people don't typically talk about.
Oh, yeah.
For an array of reasons. We're just going to kind of open that Pandora's box.
Ooh, yeah, let it do what it do, because it's a touchy topic. A lot of people needs to hear this, and it's hard. You know, I know it's a lot hard for a lot of men to open up, a lot of men to talk about these taboo topics, but we're gonna talk about it today. And before we get started, y'all, I want to read out of Philippians 4:19. And my God shall supply all of your need according to his riches in glory by Christ Jesus. And y'all, I want to give y'all the definition of a need, okay? It requires something because it's essential or very important. Expressing necessity or obligation. Ooh, so a need is a necessity. It ain't about what you want to do, ladies. It's a necessity. Ugh. So Brother Reggie, I'm gonna open it up like this. Just tell the people a little bit about you, your background a little bit. Tell the people about yourself.
Well, I'm 63 years old. I've been in the military. I'm currently retired.
Awesome.
I'm a retired law enforcement officer. And I'm married, been married for about 23 years. I have a daughter who's 14 years of age. And it's been an interesting journey through life at this point. And I'm just looking forward to this discussion, this conversation, and hopefully it will help somebody.
Oh yeah. I think it's gonna help a lot of people, Brother Reggie. So tell me a time in your life. Just let's go back a little bit before we even get started, even talking about the now. Was there any point in your childhood, in your life, that you had a need and that you felt like that need wasn't fulfilled?
Wow, you know, that's really powerful, and it's sort of earth shaking.
Yeah.
Because what you just posed to me, childhood and a need or needs that weren't met. You know, I grew up in a household that was very chaotic. I grew up with a father who was very abusive, verbally and physically. He was a hard worker, but he didn't talk much.
Wow.
He kind of kept things inside. And the only thing about keeping things inside, you're going to reach a boiling point.
Ooh, yeah.
And it's got to come out. Something's going to happen
some
to
type
it.
of way.
And so we never knew what was going to happen from day to day. If he had a good day at work, things were going to be okay. But if he didn't, then we were going to pay for it. We were going to suffer the brunt of what he was experiencing. So when there's a lot of chaos going on inside of a home, there are a lot of needs. There are a lot of needs that are not going to be identified.
Ooh, that's good.
Because the confusion kind of takes over.
That's good.
So you don't know what this child needs or what that child is missing, because you're just trying to survive emotionally.
Ooh, jeez.
So what happens when these children become of age? They enter the world with a lot of unmet needs.
Unmet needs.
And it can be devastating.
Ooh.
So it was very tough. It was very tough. So I think a need that every child needs to feel that it's been met. It's that of love. What happens when a child feels that he or she hasn't been loved?
Wow.
You know,
Wow.
they're going to go out and try to, number one, they don't know what real love is because
You're gonna try to
they
find it.
haven't felt it. It hasn't been identified to them. So it can be very confusing.
Yeah. Yeah. And so how do you say you have feel those needs even as a young boy growing up? How did you get to the point where you feel those fillers, putting fillers for those needs? You know, you need one thing, but you're feeling with something else.
Well, for me, I identified with what my father did.
Mm.
What he did was that he was a hard worker.
Mm.
So
That's
I
good.
just concentrated on working,
Oh,
staying busy, having goals, because that's all I knew.
that's good.
That's what was important to him. And it was obvious that when we were growing up, he wanted to make sure that his sons were not lazy.
That's good.
So he was very difficult, very rigid, very hard.
Mm.
And when you're raised in that fashion, you take on some of those characteristics.
Oh,
You're very rigid in your thinking. It's neither, it's no gray. It's either black or white.
that's good.
So that's the way I live my life, and it brings about its own difficulties.
Mm. Oh, and how did that affect you emotionally?
Um, the way it affected me, I became an introvert. I was
Oh,
constantly dissecting and trying to analyze because I know that he's getting off work soon or he's already home. So I'm watching his behavior and I'm trying to anticipate what might happen. I'm trying to anticipate. So now I'm not talking anymore. I'm doing more listening and watching and observing.
Wow.
So I just kind of sat down in it. I was consumed by it. And unfortunately, in a lot of different ways, it shaped my personality.
Yeah.
In ways that it would not have, my personality would not have been.
Wow.
Had I not been dealing with that.
Jeez.
And you know, so you don't know as a child, you don't really know. You think that everybody's dealing with the same things. I didn't realize that the way we grew up in the household, dealing with what we were dealing with, wasn't odd until I was actually in college.
Yeah.
And I was standing out in the hallway and I was listening to these two girls talk. We were waiting for the professor to come in, and one girl said to the other, she said, well, you know, I never heard my parents argue. If they did it, they didn't do it in my presence.
Yeah.
And immediately I said, you lying.
Wow.
I said, she lying.
Wow.
But then when I thought about it, I realized that, wait a minute, everybody didn't experience what you experienced.
Wow. That was eye-opening.
Because I was doing a lot of comparing myself to my peers. And I was saying to myself, well, what's wrong with me? Why am I not doing this or that? Because they're dealing with the same thing that I'm dealing with.
That's good.
They seem to be handling it so much better. But I didn't realize until later that, wait a minute, that may not be the case.
Wow.
That may not be the case. So,
wow.
But it took me a while to get to that point because I didn't know any better.
Wow. 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 Okay. And so that kind of, made you an introvert. And so, you're going through this role. How did you meet your wife? Let's get to that point. How did you meet her? How did that even get to a point where you met Miss Lisa? That's his wife's name.
Well, we were working for the same company.
Mm-hmm.
And in meeting her, I watched her for a long time before I said anything to her. She was very quiet. She kind of kept things to herself.
Yeah.
I felt like, this is somebody, I thought that she was so interesting. But more than anything, I felt like I could trust her.
That's good.
And I think a lot of that had to do with how I grew up.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was so much going on in the home, there was no way that I was going to attach myself to someone whom I thought I would be constantly going back and forth with. I grew up that way, so so it was going to have to be somebody who had a different presentation.
And what was that, brother? What was that presentation?
Not argumentative.
Oh,
Not difficult. Easy to get along with. Peaceful.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to duplicate what I had experienced in my growing up.
Yeah.
That was my number one.
That's good.
That was my number one.
That's good.
Yeah.
So basically, your wife was safe. She was kind of safe for you.
She created a safe place, a safe space for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and like you said, you didn't want you didn't seen all this different stuff growing up, feeling like even with your dad, you had to kind of almost seem like eggshells in a sense. Had to kind of walk kind of circumspectly on eggshells. And so with Miss Lisa, it was kind of like, I mean, this kind of easy. This is simple.
I didn't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
I didn't have to worry about the unpredictability of the person. Because growing up, we never knew. We never knew what was going to happen. You know, maybe on many occasions, you know, my mom would pack us up, and we would go to her parents' house. Her father would meet us at a particular location, and if we didn't arrive there at a certain time, he would come looking for us.
Wow.
So there are times when we just had to leave.
Wow. 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 It's so good. Now, and y'all, I pray this is blessing somebody, because I'm so into it. I'm like, goodness, it's really it's amazing that so many men hold in so many things, so many men, maybe even your husband, ladies who are watching, maybe even your nephews, maybe even your grandfather, maybe people that you have been around all your life has had childhood issues and things that maybe it seems aggressive coming off to you. Maybe it seems like he's nonchalant, but maybe, just maybe, he's experienced some things. Maybe your husband is introverted. Maybe your granddad is introverted, but maybe he has really experienced things that he has never told you about. And so, Brother Reggie, even when we get into the marriage a little bit, how is marriage?
Marriage is what you make it.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is that it depends on the work and effort that you want to put into it.
That's good. That's good.
And quite often, I think that you have to challenge yourself, because you may have a way of looking at things, a way of doing things that may not be beneficial to the marriage.
That's good.
You have to be willing to change.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to be willing to change. So it's I think I hate to say it, but I think a marriage is what you make it. What you're willing to put into it.
That's good.
You get out of it what you put into it, just like anything else.
Yeah. Yeah. And so do you feel like, so that place that she was, okay, when you first met her, she was this person that you felt pretty safe with,
Right.
Do you feel like that now is still the same thing, or do you feel like that now isn't what at that time what you met her is that still working for you now, or what does that look like?
Well, now it still works for me, but over your lifespan, you're going to change.
You're going to change. Yep.
You're going to discover who you are. You're going to discover things about yourself. You're going to become more confident. You're just going to grow in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
And your needs, I think, are going to change.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
I think that because I grew up sort of introverted, not by choice, but by circumstances.
Yeah.
Because I'm older now. Now there's more of a need to talk, to communicate.
Yeah.
So the communication aspect of it, I think, is challenging, because my wife is more reserved, more quiet. I give off the appearance that I'm quiet,
yeah,
but I really like to communicate and conversate. So I have to kind of pull it out of her, so to speak.
Yeah.
But, you know, just thinking back and hindsight being 2020, I kind of do a lot of reflecting on my life at this point. And so I understand a lot more now than I did back then.
Right.
So there's more of a thing of me wanting to talk and wanting to discuss. I just have more to say.
Yeah. Like you said, growing,
Right.
you know, causes that to be, you know, things you wanted at 30 and 40, you know, may not be the same thing at 60.
Right.
You know, I may require a little more than I did at that time.
Exactly.
And so how does that affect you today? Let's be honest. How does it affect you? And we, like I said, y'all, we transparent, you know, on the channel. How does it affect you?
Well, the good thing about where I'm at right now, I'm able to talk about this.
Yeah.
You know, my experiences growing up and how it affected me, how I think it affected my family. There was a time when I couldn't talk about it.
Wow.
I couldn't discuss it. I couldn't get through a conversation about those experiences.
Yeah.
Now I'm able to sit down and talk about it.
Yeah.
And feel a sense of strength and be okay with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to enter into any conversation with someone who have a similar background.
Yeah.
Who have similar things that he or she may have experienced. Because the trading of ideas and circumstances and understanding, it's like a two-way street.
Yeah.
It's gonna help me. It's gonna help that person. So I'm not hesitant now about talking about those difficult things.
Right. Yeah. And so that's good to, you know, that you have kind of overcome that stage where you once was like, you know, where you was kind of more like, can't really talk about that, but now you're able to talk about that because believe it or not, Brother Reggie, a lot of people are dealing with, a lot of men deals with this. Like it's like I can't talk, I can't go there with my feelings, I can't talk about those deep dark places that I try to, you know, a lot of men that went through trauma, a lot of men then went through all type of daddy issues, a lot of men didn't have their father. And so I would even ask you, how can one navigate that? How can a man identify a need that he may have, but he don't know how to openly express that? He don't know where to get help. He don't know what to do. How can he like navigate that?
You know, I think the path to doing that may be different for each person. But sooner or later, that need to communicate what you experience, to get help,
Definitely.
it's gonna manifest itself in some kind of a way. It can manifest itself in some type of a health issue.
That's
by
good.
keeping things in, not talking about it, not able to sleep, not able to rest.
That's good.
Anxiety, depression. Even though you may not see it, a lot of times people on the outside can tell that something's not quite right.
Yeah, that's
something's
good.
not quite right. But you just have to be honest with yourself. Just have to be honest with yourself, because you're going to rob yourself of a happier life.
Ooh, yeah.
Sure, it's not going to be easy, because it's not easy for anybody. Everything is easier said than done, but you're going to have to put the work in.
Yeah.
And be honest with yourself, and hopefully you can be honest with someone around you who wants you to have that peace.
Definitely.
Because if you don't deal with issues, whatever they may be, you're not going to be at peace with yourself.
Goodness.
And you may even blame yourself for something that's not your fault.
It's not your fault.
You know? So, you know, sometimes, and I know, just going back and historically, particularly in Black homes, you know, the things that we didn't really talk about. finances and feelings.
Yeah.
Men especially, about what a man needs. I mean, your dad didn't sit around talking about, I need this and I need to be understood and I need to feel needed. But there's a time. There's gonna come a time when everybody needs something.
Yeah.
Everybody needs something.
Everybody needs something.
But if you think you can get through this life without communicating and talking about how you feel and what you need, because when you think about mental health, that's another issue that's always been taboo, especially within the Black family. We didn't talk about I feel a little depressed, anxious, whatever the case may be. And I think now we're living in a time when we realize that's so important.
It's so important.
It's so important.
So important.
But I used to hear this thing about Black men, or men in particular, crying in the darkness.
Ooh.
I thought about that. That sounds okay, but I think there's something else that may be going on with a lot of men.
Yeah.
Not necessarily crying in the darkness, but crying inside internally. It's like your heart breaking. And you don't want to cry in front of anybody.
Yeah.
But you could easily be crying inside.
Wow.
Due to sadness, a broken heart, hurt, trauma, not being understood. Someone may say about me, or I hear people talk about people who are standoffish. And I have an idea about that, from my perspective anyway. Sometimes when people are standoffish, it's like if you're cutting your hedges at home. If you're standing close to the hedges that you've just trimmed, you can't really get an idea of what they look like. But if you step back and you look at them, you get a better idea. Well, it's not even over there. I need to trim off a little bit more, or whatever the case might be. So some people are standoffish because they need to get a better perspective of the person.
That's good, y'all.
Need to get a better perspective of the person to identify. Sometimes, is this a safe person? Is this somebody that I need to avoid?
Wow. That's real.
So I mean, that's my perspective. But I would encourage any man to find a way to get what he needs.
Yeah.
If you need to talk to a counselor, a therapist, somebody that you feel safe with, and sitting down talking about whatever your issue or issues are, then do it.
Do it. Yeah.
Because what might work for one person may not work for another.
That's good.
So, I mean, you can't. We're living in a day and time when nothing is off the record, and so a lot of times that can make a person feel uncomfortable with sharing information that he may be afraid might be compromised.
Yeah.
But if you need to talk, if you can't talk to your wife or your brother, your father, your uncle, or your mother, then find that person. And sometimes you have to pay. It may be something that you have to pay for.
Yeah.
You may have to pay for that confidentiality.
Yeah.
Pay for that safe place.
Yeah, because I noticed, Brother Reggie, with our Black men, especially with our Black men, not saying it isn't in any other race, but Black men are taught to be strong. You got to be strong. You can't cry. Nobody want to see you cry. Keep your chin up. Work hard. You're the provider, which is all that is, the provider. That's true. But like you were just saying about that safe place, a lot of men are dealing inside. A lot of men are bleeding internally because they can't vent. They can't. Their wives are so mouthy. She don't feel safe. The friend don't feel safe. Nobody feels safe. And so I'm bleeding internally because I can't even talk to the woman that I'm married to. I can't even vent to this person because she doesn't feel safe to me.
Yeah, it can be rather difficult.
Yeah.
Men are taught to be strong.
Be strong.
Not to talk about how you feel. To be able to handle everything, and to be able to do it well.
Yeah.
I remember some years ago, someone told me about the three P's when it comes to being a man. A man is supposed to protect, provide, and perform.
Wow.
Protect his family, be able to provide for him.
Yeah.
And be able to perform various tasks around the house, working on the car, or whatever the case may be. But, there is such a thing as being able to do something well, but that's not good enough.
Oh.
If you find yourself constantly pushing the bar up higher and higher until you can't even reach it.
Oh, that's good.
I mean, it just creates an unrealistic way of living.
Wow.
Everybody needs help.
Everybody.
Nobody's perfect.
Mm-mm.
And I think we live in a world where perception is everything.
Yeah.
Even though I may feel bad internally, if I dress up and I'm perceived as doing well, looking good, then that's all that matters.
That's all that matters. That on the outside.
Until the payday comes.
Wow.
When it all starts to unravel.
Oh, that's so good.
Then people say, "Well, I thought they were doing fine. They just seemed like they were."
Oh, that's so good.
They just seemed like they were so happy. But oftentimes it's all an act. It's all an act. The best thing you can do for your brother, a close friend, your wife, is to be honest with them. Be transparent with them. Because sometimes people will ask for help in a litany of ways. Sometimes somebody just may say, I feel like I'm losing it.
Wow. Yep.
Because some people, especially people who are quick to help others, they don't really they'll do all the helping, but they don't really feel comfortable being helped.
That's good.
But sometimes people will throw out little signs and tidbits to let you know that I'm really not doing well.
Wow.
I'm really not doing well.
Wow.
Because a lot of times they won't have a whole conversation about it, but they'll maybe just throw something out there. And oftentimes when they do, it's because they can't control it.
They can't control it.
They've been holding these things in for so long, and everything looked well, but now it's overlapping. It's running over. And they're trying to hold it in, and they can't.
That's so good.
So some of this stuff started to kind of leak out. And hopefully, a person like that is around somebody that when they throw something out there that seems or sounds kind of out of character, they'll say, well, what do you mean?
Wow.
You need to talk about something? Are you really okay?
Yeah. And I think women we have to do a better job, sometimes. And I know we feel like we take care of the majority of everything. We feel like, our husbands, our, boyfriends, fiance, whatever. It can be frustrating, but I think we have to do a better job as far as communicating, seeing what's on their mind. Men are going through just as much as we are. Men hold a lot in. Although we are very emotional beings, we'll just blurt something out. A lot of women will just blurt stuff out. I mean, you don't even have to ask us what's on our mind. We're going to just tell you. But a lot of men hold things in, like Brother Reggie said, until you can't even control it. I'm losing it. That's a great one. I'm losing it. And not even realize you think he's just talking, but not realizing that he's on the edge, that he's feel like he's about to lose his mind, that feels like he can't take it anymore. And then, like you said, Brother Reggie, get to a point like, he looked it fine.
Yeah.
He never even looked like he was always happy on the outside, but you never took time to ask him what was on his mind. You never took time to ask him, what can I do for you today? How can I relieve stress? How can I help you? What can I do to take some of this weight off of you? And that's our duties when we are the help meet. We help our husbands. We help the men that God has blessed us with, right? And so, Brother Reggie, can you identify, and I know it could be more, so give me 3 things that a man need? It could be more, but 3 main things for a sustainable relationship. What are 3 things?
Well, I think foremost, the first thing is that a man needs to know that somebody cares, somebody's
Ooh,
concerned.
that's good.
And it's important that the people closest to him show the most concern
Ooh,
and show that they care, because
that's good.
be it a man or a woman, no person should have to go outside of the parameters of their relationship to find someone who can
That's
show
good.
them that they care.
Ooh, that's good.
I mean, that is a valued need.
A value need.
Everybody needs to know that somebody's concerned about them, somebody cares about their welfare.
That's so
Everybody
good.
needs to know that. The second thing is communication.
Yeah.
If you are married to a man who is not quick to communicate, but you can tell that there's something going on with him, you
Yeah.
can't let it go by.
Mm-mm.
If he's sitting at the end of the sofa and he's there but he's not there,
Mm-hmm.
you just can't say, well, I guess he's tired.
Yep. Can't assume.
He's not tired like that every day.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
You got to kind of pull him out of that. You got to kind of change him, get him out of that emotion,
Mm-hmm.
because it's going to interfere with things that he's got to do.
Ooh.
He's got to take care of his family. He's got to stay on the job. So you just can't just let it go. So, well,
Yeah.
he'll be okay.
Mm-mm.
He's a strong man. He'll be all right. But I would say, number one, showing that care and concern,
Yep.
being able to communicate, because there's no substitution for communication. There's no substitution for that.
That's so good.
It's got to be done. It's got to happen. And if you care enough and you're concerned enough, you'll take the time to find out, you okay?
You okay? Mm-hmm.
No. I mean, are you really okay?
Mm-hmm.
And most men will say, yeah, I'm fine. Nothing wrong with me. But that is just a cover up. So for a wife or for a girlfriend, a fiance, or what have you, you've got to care enough to make sure that he is okay.
Wow. That's so good.
And the third thing I would say
So good.
is, and these are maybe don't have to be in a particular order, but everybody needs to know that they're loved. Everybody needs to know that.
Yeah.
Because love is indicated in a number of ways.
Yes.
And if it doesn't line up or measure up to love, is it really love?
Is it really love?
I mean, what is that? Because oftentimes people will say, well, I thought you said you loved me. Because if you love me, you wouldn't talk to me like that. You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't neglect me, or you wouldn't act like you don't need me or you don't want me. But you definitely wouldn't act like you don't care.
Wow.
So how can you argue the point that if you're treating someone like you don't care, but you say, I love you?
Ooh.
That don't line up.
Ooh, goodness. That
doesn't line up.
It don't.
It doesn't make sense. And who's going to buy it? Who's going to buy it?
That's so good.
I used to hear, I've heard men say in the past that, I'm not going to be a conduit for you to have everything you need. Well, what am I here for?
What am I? Yeah.
What am I here for? I mean, what about me? Because some men are so selfless that sometimes they don't think about themselves. But if you're the wife, the fiance, the girlfriend, you're not supposed to let them go unkept, so to speak.
Ooh. Yeah.
Because a lot of times we will forego things for ourselves for somebody else, but you got to say, well, you did this for me last time. Let's do something for you.
Come on, that's good.
Let's do something for you.
That's good. Sacrifice, compromise.
So if it's not addressed at that time, later on down the road, this man is going to start to think, you don't never think about me. You don't never think about me.
Oh.
If she was looking out for me, she would have said, what about you? Let's do this for you.
Wow. Mm.
And that can bring about a certain amount of bitterness and
Mm-hmm.
resentment
Wow.
and frustration
Frustration.
and anger.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then, which can sometimes too, Brother Rich, can cause you to look, like you saying, look outside the marriage, which is, we're not saying that's right, but it can. It can. When it's all about you all the time, it's about you. It's about you. It's about you. You never think about your person. You're never thinking about maybe what they need. It's always about you. And I know women, we have a very, very, especially now in this generation, it's about me. If he don't make this, if he ain't doing this, he can't talk. We can't talk. And you should have standards. But at the same time, it's like, why aren't you bringing anything to the table as well? Why can't you do some of those hard things that you ask for him to do? It's the same thing we are for each other, not him pulling everything and I do nothing. It's crazy.
Sometimes it's about a lifeline.
Yeah.
Sometimes a person can get so disjointed, so away from it all,
Yeah.
that they feel like they need some kind of a lifeline.
Yeah.
And I would caution anyone for looking at the job, their employment as a lifeline, because a job is a means to an end. It's going to end one day. It
means to an end. I love it.
And so if that job is your lifeline, what happens when you get laid off or you retire and you don't have that? That job has become, and the people on that job has become your everything. Now you don't have it. What are you going to do? You're going to be in search of a new lifeline. And that in itself can be detrimental.
Yeah.
But, if you're married, like I say, in a relationship, you got to be a lifeline for each other.
Yeah.
And you got to be paying attention. You got to be listening. I think one thing with anyone in a relationship is that you got to strive to understand the person.
Yep.
Understand all the different facets of the person. What are they like when they get angry, when they get upset, when they're bothered by something, when something is not quite right. You got to be able to pick that up.
Mm-hmm.
Because the person expects you to. I mean, you got to be able to do it.
Yeah.
And I'll say this: if you're in a relationship for the wrong reason, do the person a favor and get out the way.
Oh, say that again, Brother Reggie. Say that again.
If you're in a relationship not because you care and love the person, then get out of the way.
Oh, that's good, y'all.
Then get out of the way, because you're wasting your time, you're wasting their time.
That's good.
If the person's not quite right for you, for whatever reason, but you're looking at what they bring to the table, I mean, sooner or later, that's going to become an issue.
Oh, that's so good.
But if you don't mean the person any good, and I'm just saying,
that's good.
If you don't mean the person any good, come on, man, get out the way.
Move out the way. I love that.
Just get out the way.
Ooh.
And let the person find somebody, or give the person the opportunity to connect with somebody who is going to be all that he or she needs them to be.
That is so good. That's so good.
I mean, just be real about it. If you're not really into the person, there are ways to say that. Mm-hmm. Because it's just going to create a whole lot of problems down the road.
A lot of issues.
Sooner or later it's going to rise to the surface. But I would say to any man, hey, listen, we all have needs.
Yeah.
And if your needs are not being met, it's going to create a lot of issues for you.
A lot.
Hey, be a man. Talk about it. Men are supposed to be able to do the hard things.
Yeah.
Put it on the table. Because you can't run away from yourself. Mm-mm. You can't do that. And everybody deserves to be happy, to live a fulfilled life, Um, don't cheat yourself out of what you need, out of what you're missing. Be good to yourself. You know, and there's some things that, you know, we just have to kind of put ourselves first.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great to look out for everybody and want everybody to be well and healthy and to have their needs met, but we all have needs that have to be met.
Yeah. That is so, y'all, this is so good. I can't even see the time on. I think we're about at 40 minutes. I glean from Brother Reggie because, like he said, he come out quiet, but he has so much wisdom and stuff. So man, it's amazing just the knowledge he has even spit today, man. It's literally amazing. It's life changing. And like I said, y'all, please share this video. Please share the video. So many men need this. So many men are going through mentally, ladies, that we just have to be more discerning of. We have to stop taking everything so personal and literally ask him, talk to him, or he needs help. And sometimes men need help. It's a need. Need therapy. You need something. Everybody needs something. And so I love those three that you gave. You gave caring, you gave love, and what was that middle one, Brother Reggie? You gave communication. Yes. Right. Every person wants that. Every person wants to be seen. Every person wants to be not only heard, but their need to be comprehended. Because I can communicate and tell you something all day, but if you don't comprehend what I'm saying, all it was me communicating. You got to comprehend that thing. You got to put that thing into action. And so, Brother Reggie, if I want you to look into that green dot, and I want you to encourage men, our last thing, I want you to encourage somebody, whatever's on your mind, on your heart to say. Just encourage the man out there.
To any man that may be watching this podcast, I would say you deserve to be good to yourself.
That's good.
You deserve to have your needs met. And this is not a wimpy thing, because this is real.
Yeah.
Because if you're in a marriage, you're in a relationship, and your needs are not being met, you're going to look for that need to be met somewhere else.
Yeah.
But if you're timid about discussing a need that needs to be met, you're only going to do yourself more harm than good.
Yeah.
You know, whatever it is for you, whatever that need that needs to be met for you, make sure that you do it. You know, everybody deserves to be celebrated.
That's good.
You can't stand around and put a parade on for everybody else to celebrate them and not expect the same for yourself. Everybody deserves to be celebrated, to be appreciated, to have their needs met, whatever that is for you.
Yeah. Yeah. That is so good, y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed today's podcast. What a man needs. Thank you so much, Brother Reggie, for coming on. He was so willing to come on. Y'all, when I asked him, he was so willing. And I just thank God for him. And just be encouraged, Brother Reggie, in everything that God sees you. Elroy, the Amen. God that sees you, he loves you so much. And know that he will supply every need that you have. And y'all, like I said, share the video. Make sure you give it a thumbs up. Make sure you encourage somebody. Make sure you tell somebody about Jesus. Make sure you tell somebody your testimony. We out here trying to transform lives, y'all. We tired of all the fluff and all the cute stuff. We trying to transform lives. And like I said, share this godly content, man. We need to see godly content. We need to have real conversations, not all the fluff, not all the glitz and glam. We need to have some real conversations. So just do your due diligence and make sure you share it, repost, whatever the case may be. And I love y'all so much, Purpose Fam. And until next time, I hope y'all have an amazing day on purpose. Although it may be hard, you can do hard things, as my mom say. It's hard, but it can be done. And I love y'all so much, and y'all take care, okay? Thanks, Brother Reggie.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Peace out.